For 3,000 years, one single civilization really defined power, ambition, and mystery. Its monuments, well, they've captivated us for centuries. So today, we're going to unlock the story of ancient Egypt, how it rose, how it ruled, and what secrets it left buried deep in the sand. You know, for most of human history, everything we thought we knew about them was, well, it was basically wrong. Their whole story was completely lost. So how on earth did they thrive for so long? And, maybe more importantly, how did we finally piece together a history that had just vanished for millennia? We're going to unravel this story in 5 parts. First, we'll see how a single stone unlocked their lost language. Then, we'll explore the river that was literally their lifeline. From there, we'll dive into their incredible ambition to build for eternity, see how they forged a massive empire, and finally, discover what parts of their world are still with us today. Okay, so to understand Egypt, we first have to understand how its story was lost. Because for a huge chunk of history, the entire world of the pharaohs was completely silent. The sheer scale of this silence is kind of hard to wrap your head around. I mean, picture this. The Great Pyramids were already ancient history by the time the last person who could even read hieroglyphs was alive. For 1,400 years, their entire written world was just gone, sealed off, until total chance discovery during Napoleon's invasion of Egypt changed absolutely everything. And this was the key. In 1799, one of Napoleon's soldiers just stumbles upon this stone slab. It had the same exact text written in 3 different scripts, and one of them was ancient Greek, a language scholars already knew. All of a sudden, they had a way to crack the code. The Rosetta Stone didn't just translate a document, it gave a lost civilization its voice back. Okay, so now that we can actually read their story, let's go all the way back to the beginning. The entire epic of ancient Egypt, I mean, the whole shebang, is powered by one single, predictable force of nature, the Nile River. You see, the Egyptians had a secret weapon, and it was the river's incredible predictability. Every single year, like clockwork, the Nile would flood, blanketing the valley with this amazingly fertile black silt. When the waters pulled back, the planting began. This simple, reliable cycle, it made Egypt one of the very first and most prosperous agricultural societies in all of human history. The ancient historian Herodotus, man, he put it perfectly. The Nile wasn't just a river, it was the entire system. It provided food, it was a highway for transport, and it set the very rhythm of Egyptian life. Without the Nile, there are no pharaohs, no pyramids, no empire. Simple as that. So, with this super stable foundation, Egypt enters its first golden age. We're talking the Old Kingdom. This was an era defined by a complete explosion of architectural ambition, where they started building monuments not just for years, but for eternity. And you know, this whole architectural revolution can be traced back to a single person. Serving King Djoser, a vizier named Imhotep decided to try something that had never, ever been done before. He wasn't just a politician. This guy was an architect, a physician, a true genius. And his innovation was as simple as it was revolutionary. See, before Imhotep, royal tombs were these simple, flat-roofed structures made out of mud brick, called mastabas. His idea? Let's stack them, one on top of the other, getting smaller as they go up. And this is the crucial part. He decided to build the entire thing not with mud, but with massive blocks of carved stone. The result was the Step Pyramid. At 62 meters, it wasn't just tall, it was the tallest structure on Earth at the time. And it was the first monumental building ever constructed entirely of stone. This one project became the prototype that set the stage for all those legendary pyramids at Giza. All right, let's fast forward to Egypt's second peak, the New Kingdom. Now, this wasn't just about building anymore. This was about conquest. This was the age of the great warrior pharaohs and the creation of the Egyptian empire. And this era was led by some of history's most iconic figures. I mean, you have had Shepsut, a woman who ruled with all the power of a king. You have her successor, the military genius Thutmose III, who forged the empire. Akhenaten, the heretic who tried to upend their entire religion. And of course, the legendary Ramesses II, the Great. Ramesses II is maybe the quintessential pharaoh of this entire era. He ruled for an unbelievable 67 years, a time of stability, massive construction projects, and incredible military might. His most famous campaign was the Battle of Kadesh, a colossal clash of chariots against the rival Hittite Empire. So Ramesses claimed this stunning victory at Kadesh, and he covered temple walls with the story. But what's really historic is what came after. The endless fighting led both sides to sign the world's first ever recorded peace treaty. So in the end, the great warrior king's lasting legacy wasn't just war, but one of history's first great acts of diplomacy. But, empires, no matter how powerful they are, eventually fade. So for our last section, let's look at the slow decline of the pharaohs' rule and the incredible legacy they left in their wake. So the end wasn't a single event. It was really a slow erosion of power over centuries. Internally, the priesthood of the god Amun grew so wealthy and powerful, it started to rival the pharaoh. Externally, you had costly wars against invaders like the mysterious sea peoples, which just drained the treasury. And all this weakness left Egypt vulnerable to a series of foreign conquests, first by the Persians and eventually the Macedonians under Alexander the Great. Now, this is a really crucial distinction to make. The age of Egyptian independence, of pharaohs ruling themselves, was over. But Egyptian civilization itself, that was not. Its culture was just too ancient, too powerful to be erased. In fact, its echoes are all around us. The Nile is still the sacred heart of the country. Ancient traditions, like some spring festivals, are still celebrated. And the Coptic language, which is a direct descendant of the ancient Egyptian tongue, is still used in church services today. The legacy is absolutely alive. And that just leaves us with one final thought. After thousands of years of history, archaeologists are still making these incredible discoveries. It just makes you wonder, in a land so ancient, what other secrets are still out there, waiting, just beneath the sand?